Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Shelbey Roberts. We begin this afternoon in the courtroom. We now have a verdict in the murder trial against Christopher Harrison. The man from Normal has been found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder. Harrison has been convicted of shooting and killing 20-year-old Joseph Gardner and 19-year-old Reginald Hart Jr. back in 2018 when he was 17 years old. Police say that the shooting was a result of a drug dispute between the three. We'll be back in court on August 3rd for a hearing to determine if Harrison will be sentenced as an adult or a juvenile. In the crime alert, 2 people are recovering after a shooting that happened earlier this morning in Peoria. That shooting happened shortly after 3 near the intersection of Hamilton and Washington. A police spokesperson says that officers in the area heard shots fired and found a large group gathered. Officers found 2 people shot, 1 person shot in the leg, the other person in the torso. Police say that those victims were not cooperative with police and they refused to wait for medics. They were driven to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 2 people had to be rescued from their burning home in Peoria Sunday morning. Around 6:30 a.m., Peoria firefighters responded to a house fire in the 400 block of West Glen Avenue. When crews got on scene, they found heavy smoke and 2 people were trapped on the 2nd floor. Firefighters rescued the 2 from a window. No injuries were reported. The cause of that fire is still being investigated, but damages are estimated at $100,000. Right now, as we speak, Illinois High School Association board members are voting on whether state basketball tournaments will play right here in Peoria. Local leaders and businesses say that they hope the tournament is here to stay. Peoria may also be picked to host the girls' tournament, moving it from Normal. J.D. Alfonso, the president and CEO of Enjoy Peoria, says that the 2 weekends have an estimated $4 million economic impact on the area. Local restaurant managers say that business booms during tournament weekends.
As far as the city of Peoria goes, the more events, the better, obviously. So any events that we can keep in town or continue to bring in town is excellent for the entire city as a whole.
Peoria has hosted the Boys March Madness tournament since 1996. Normal has hosted the girls tournament since 1992. We'll bring you team coverage on that decision starting at 3 p.m. and you can find the latest developments on our website, ciproud.com. A 3rd candidate is throwing his hat in the ring to run for Peoria Mayor. Andres Diaz announced his candidacy Saturday at the North Valley Farmers Market. Diaz is an entrepreneur and works at Caterpillar. He says he wants to run because he believes the city needs new ideas. Diaz says that he's dedicated to helping improve public services, safety, and opportunities for small businesses.
I felt compelled to run to make it so that we have safer streets, better economic development, and support for our small business and residents of Peoria, for economic prosperity for everyone in this community.
Both Shama St. Louis and current Mayor Jim Artis are in the 2021 race for Peoria Mayor. Well, it was a very busy Saturday as 2 different groups in central Illinois gathered to fight for racial equality in the midst of nationwide frustrations. WMBD's Durante Matthews shows us how both of those groups are using peace, family, and worship to achieve change.
A revolution is one word protesters in Peoria Heights could agree with as they took to the streets Saturday for a family-friendly protest.
I just wanted to put something together where families could come together.
Tanisha Kaysen organized the peaceful demonstration. She was joined by Peoria Heights Mayor Mike Phelan, who supports the movement. She says she wanted children to be safely educated on the topic of racism.
I just thought that this might be a way that they could get out and kind of get a little bit of an explanation about the things going on in the world today.
Numerous families of all races came out with their kids, marching from the library to Tower Park, chanting for change,
no justice, no peace,
and praying.
Father, we're praying for unity in the community. Every heart said, amen. Amen.
Just over at the Peoria County Courthouse at the same time, community members called on the Lord as well, with hands raised.
Hands up, and it's our worship towards God.
Organizer Rita Jones says with so much discourse going on and conflicting voices being heard, she says it's time to focus on one particular voice.
I knew that we need to access heaven. We need to hear what God is saying. What's the voice of God?
Dozens came out singing, waving flags, and worshiping. Jones says the event wasn't about color, saying we're all stronger together.
It was about what's right, what's justice, what's equality, and it's for us all.
In Peoria, Durante Matthews, WMBD News.
We now move to the Twin Cities. Flexitech Incorporated in Bloomington plans to close its assembly plant, putting 139 people out of work. The factory, which designs and manufactures auto parts, notified the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity last month that it was closing the plant on Hamilton Road. A Flexitech spokesperson says that employee separations will begin in June of next year, and at this point there's no word on why the plant is closing. The Normal Town Council will be meeting tonight to discuss delaying increases to water, sewer, and waste fees. Initially, leaders plan to increase rates by 2% on April 1st, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they're looking to move that date now to July 1st. They expect this will lead to major losses for the town's water, sewer, and waste funds. But City Manager Pamela Reese says that they're confident they can find a plan to minimize that financial impact. Businesses selling food and alcoholic beverages in Bloomington are getting an extension on the due dates for their taxes. Initially, city leaders said that owners could wait to pay the taxes without any consequences as long as they were paid no later than 30 days after the expiration of Governor J.B. Pritzker's executive order. Now the city's committee of the whole is proposing that this be amended to 6 months after that order expires. The committee will be meeting tonight at 6. The Greater Peoria Honor Flight has postponed its remaining scheduled flights. September 8th, September 24th, and October 13th honor flights to Washington, D.C. will no longer be taking place this year. Organizers cite some concerns about the veterans' safety in the midst of this pandemic. The veterans and their guardians are looking to 2021 to reschedule. In a follow-up, the Pizza Ranch in Peoria will have to take a step back in its reopening. The restaurant was served this cease and desist order from the Peoria City County Health Department Saturday. It requires Pizza Ranch to stop serving customers indoors. That order came after Pizza Ranch management chose to offer customers indoor seating last week, going against the state's reopening guidelines for restaurants. The dining room is now closed, but they are operating the buffet with patio seating. The group is also planning to meet Saturday to protest the state's restaurant reopening guidelines. Penney has now reopened 23 stores across the state of Illinois, including here in Peoria. After temporarily closing due to COVID-19, Penney now has 700 locations across the nation fully reopened. New safety guidelines have been put in place, though, like curbside pickup, sanitizing, social distancing procedures, and reduced hours. The store will be open Monday through Saturday from noon to 7 and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Secretary of State Jesse White says that Illinois residents can pre-register online when applying for a driver's license or identification card. White says that he hopes pre-registering will save some time at driver's services facilities. People have encountered some long lines after weeks of those offices being closed due to the pandemic. White's office says that people will still need to bring all of their required paperwork, though, in order to be verified by a clerk in person.